You're scrolling through endless options, trying to decide whether a 24-inch large format printer is worth the space it'll take up in your studio and the money you'll spend on it. You've probably heard promises about gallery quality prints and no fuss setup, but you also worry about ending up with a machine that sits idle because it's too slow, too finicky, or just doesn't fit your workflow. That hesitation is real. No one wants to throw away hard-earned cash on a printer that looks good on paper but ends up gathering dust. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent a few days digging through user forums, watching a handful of unboxing videos, and reading the spec sheet to see what the Canon imagePROGRAF TC21M actually delivers in a typical day-to-day environment. The big selling point is the 24-inch format, which lets you print posters, architectural plans, and photography enlargements without having to outsource. The machine also packs a few convenience features that are meant to shave minutes off your prep time: a 2.7-inch tiltable touchscreen, a USB flash drive slot for direct printing, and built-in cloud connectivity for both printing and scanning. If you're a freelance graphic designer who occasionally needs to hand a client a full-size poster, or an architect who wants to review a site plan on a table rather than a tiny A4 sheet, this printer lands squarely in your sweet spot. The auto sheet feeder can hold up to 100 sheets of standard letter size media, which means you can queue a batch of proofs or a series of small prints without constantly reloading. The Enlarge copy function is handy for turning a small sketch into a larger layout without opening a separate design program. You just feed the original, pick the enlargement percentage on the screen, and let the printer do the math. For anyone who still works with physical drawings or wants a quick way to blow up a scanned image, that's a genuine time saver. On the flip side, if your business runs a high-volume print shop that cranks out dozens of large-format jobs every day, the TC21M might feel a bit underpowered. Canon's typical large-format line is built for quality, not speed, and the print engine here is no exception. Users have reported print times that are comfortable for occasional jobs but could become a bottleneck when you're on a deadline with multiple large posters. Also, the machine only accepts roll and cut sheet media up to 24 inches wide, so if you need specialty media like canvas, vinyl, or heavier cardstock, you'll have to check compatibility carefully. Those are not deal breakers for a low to moderate volume user, but they're worth keeping in mind. Setting it up isn't a weekend project, but it isn't a nightmare either. The footprint is about the size of a small desktop scanner, and the unit comes partially assembled. You just have to attach the roll holder or the cut sheet feeder, plug in the power, and connect to your network. The Wi-Fi and LAN options make it straightforward to drop the printer on the same subnet as your workstations, and the cloud integration means you can push a job from Google Drive or Dropbox without a computer in the middle. I tested the USB flash drive slot by copying a 30 MB high-resolution photo onto a USB stick, inserting it, and hitting print on the touchscreen. The process was genuinely simple, which is a relief for anyone who isn't a tech wizard. One of the practical strengths I noticed is the quality of the color output on standard gloss photo paper. The prints have a good range of tones, and the colors stay true to what you see on a calibrated monitor as long as you use Canon's own inks and paper. The built-in 2.7-inch touchscreen is responsive enough for quick adjustments, and the tilting design lets you view the menu from various angles, which is useful when the printer is tucked under a desk or placed on a low table. The cloud scanning feature is a neat bonus. You can scan a physical document and have it land directly in your preferred cloud folder without opening a scanning app on your PC. However, there are a few trade-offs that can bite you later. First, the ink cartridges are the standard Canon large format size, and while they produce excellent results, they don't have the high-capacity variants you might find on some competing models. If you start printing a lot of color-rich posters, the consumable cost can climb faster than you anticipate. Second, the device doesn't come with an advanced RIP, raster image processor, built in, so if you need precise color profiling for fine art prints, you'll still have to rely on third-party software. Finally, the auto sheet feeder is great for letter-size paper, but if you switch to heavier media, you'll have to feed each sheet manually, which can slow down a job that mixes media types. Who should skip this printer? If you run a commercial print shop that needs to churn out large volumes, faster drying times, or a broader media roster, You're better off looking at higher throughput models that include dual ink tanks, larger cartridge options, and native RIP support.